Bitcoin is immune from attack.
Welcome to the Crypto Show's Digital Cash Evolution right here on the Bloomberg Network. And today I am back in Las Vegas again, and my illustrious co-host is still in Denver in the Mile High City. You're not really high, are you?
No, not at this time.
Good. Yeah, that's the funny thing about us. We talk so much about getting the marijuana industry involved in cryptocurrency, but neither of us smoke. Strange thing. But we are talking with a few guests that we have today, actually two, that are here at the conference. We are at the World Crypto Con in Las Vegas, and we're talking with Tim and Raj from Cryptopia, which is one of the newer exchanges, I believe. I mean, how old is your exchange, guys?
So the company's been around about 4 years, but it's been the last 18 months that we've seen significant growth in the exchange itself.
Right. Compared to some of the other bigger name exchanges, Poloniex and whatnot, you guys carry a wider range of tokens, don't you? Would you attribute that to maybe some of your success, that you carry some of the things that are harder to get on other platforms? Or?
Yes and no. So we do carry a large range of coins. We've got about 500 coins currently listed on our exchange. We've only just gone through the first phase of doing a bit of an audit and rationalization of those coins, because there's some coins on there which aren't traded, aren't being used. Mm-hmm. So we're moving some of them off and bringing new coins on. So it's an ongoing process at the moment.
Yeah, Chuck, chime in on this, because you were talking about some of the way their top 10 is arranged.
Well, yeah, I was looking at the listing, and I was impressed by it. I mean, there's 854 tokens listed, which and just out of curiosity, I was like, well, where's Bitcoin in this list? And I find Bitcoin it barely reaches 1% of the trade volume, at least today, on this exchange, and it's ranked at number 21. And Dash is way down at number 65 out of these 854 tokens, and number one is this new one that I think both Tim and myself had heard of today, called the Siren Labs token, which I've learned is connected to the Finny phone. If you guys want to, it's a blockchain phone. If you guys want to check that out for our listeners. But coming back to this one, yeah, it's a very interesting platform to have that many tokens. Electroneum and Mothership rounding out positions 2 and 3 at 6% and 2% on your platform. How would you compare yourself to other exchanges, and why do you think that this variability is unique?
It's probably the range that we have, and that's really where we saw the growth was on the back of some of the ones that we were first to list. So a broad range, yes, as you know, comes with a broad range. We're looking to rationalize them and delist some, but it's really been part of our success going forward as well in the past has been those niche ones.
Can you talk about that rationalization process at all, or what things you might consider in what is and is not rational?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of rationalization, like we've got a range of coins, a very large range of coins. So it's almost like walking into a Walmart and picking a T-shirt. There's a shitload of T-shirts you can choose. So it's a matter of getting the ones that maybe are last year's fashions, and ones that have been there for a few years, haven't moved. People aren't interested in some of those coins anymore, and just getting rid of some of the deadwood, or the stuff that's not as exciting as it used to be, and just moving some of those off, bringing some of the more exciting projects back on, and bringing them on first in the market.
Do you ever run into
right? And that's one of the things I really.
Do you ever run into situations where you're hearing from the community and everything that they're scams, and that you've taken it off because of that, just to protect the customers, or?
Yes and no.
Okay.
The community is quite active, as you're both probably aware of, and quite vocal. So yes, we do listen to our community, and we have community managers who manage that sentiment, which is fine. But we don't like having coins that are jeopardizing people's funds on our exchange. That's one of the things that we don't stand for. So we're not anything that's a scam that we know of, and the community is telling us about. We will definitely get.
So I can't stop in and pick up some OneCoin then, huh?
You can try your luck.
I don't think they ever actually had one, but
I don't think they did. When I learned about OneCoin, they were never listed anywhere. You couldn't buy something you wanted.
They had one coin, and no one knew where it was.
That may be true. Well, I have to applaud you for that. I mean, at least I mean, I've interacted with a few people who work, inside of these exchange groups, and one of the things that I've always wanted to make sure that both the public and the exchange owners or operators are in agreement about, that I keep confirming, is that there is a majority of these tokens and projects that probably won't survive the long term. I sense that there may be some agreement with that, and there seems to be, at least you're taking some level of a responsibility for being aware and watching what is and is not relevant, and maybe removing what is not relevant, and maintaining that rotation. Is that an accurate depiction of your work?
Yeah, I'd say that'd be very accurate of sort of what we're trying to do. We are trying to be as transparent as possible to our end users and to the coin community as well. We're not going to take on stuff that's rubbish, stuff that's a scam, that's going to defraud our customers. That's not our game. That's not what we're here for. We're here for the long term and to make it work.
What do you guys? What
I
are
was
you
looking at the.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Chad.
Oh, I was going to ask. I was looking at the website. It's and I noticed that the Cryptopia, it's cryptopia.co.nz. You guys are actually based in New Zealand. Is that the case?
Correct.
Yep.
And do you see any like legal or like what are the benefits to being there? Is it just home for you, or is there anything other?
Our founders were both Kiwis, so that's where we started 4 years ago or so. We've grown hugely, so we've had 400% growth in terms of staff month on month. So it's been quite rapid, our growth, especially over the last 18 months. That is our home. We have a very small office in Sydney, in Australia, and then we have a office of about 12 people in London as well. So we've got 3 sites.
Okay.
Where are you guys at kind of with new users? Are you making your platform, more user friendly to people who don't know about cryptocurrencies and how to get involved comparatively to other sites?
Yes, we are. So we've got a series of tutorial videos, YouTube channels, social channels that we're firing up on how to use crypto, what is crypto, how to find an exchange, how to find the right coin. A lot of the 101 stuff that people who have been in the game for a while take for granted, taking a lot of the jargon out as well. So making it very layman's.
Right.
So your ma and pa investors can understand what we're doing.
Helping people to know what the real Bitcoin is.
Correct.
I'm kidding.
That's a joke. And building.
Oh, that's great. I'm really. I have to say, I'm really glad to hear you guys taking on that particular project. The 101 piece of it. I'm really curious about how, like, why create your own content versus pointing people at particular content. I confront this a lot, and I'm curious about your response.
A lot as a marketer, a lot of those assets already exist, and I agree with that. A lot of them, I still think, are very highly technical. I haven't seen a lot that I could show my grandma and say, "Here, what do you think?" And she, that basic level doesn't exist yet. Until you have that basic level, you're not going to get scale, and you don't get scale, you're not going to have widespread acceptance or adoption of cryptocurrencies.
That's basically the number one problem in crypto industry is nobody knows how to use it.
It was one of those problems that we saw over our December, January, where we got significant growth. It changed the profile of our users as well. So what that led to was a lot more support calls for very basic things that we weren't having problems with in the past because people knew cryptocurrencies. They'd played around with it and invested for a long time. So with that profile change of our users, it made sense to add those assets, the knowledge base and the 101 stuff.
Do you find that profile is well represented in these communities that you engage with? And I did want to kind of understand, like, what communities do you engage with? Is it Telegram groups? Is it Slack? Or like what does that look like?
We've got a very, very large range of communities, and like some of the ones you mentioned, yes, they exist. We have some more traditional ones. You have Twitters and Facebooks of the world, LinkedIn. A lot of the content we put on LinkedIn is actually very, very well constructed, and the feedback we get is very positive around it. Some of the other more social channels are a bit looser, and the feedback we get is very mixed, should I say. So, we try to engage, where our customers are, and given the comment Tim just made that the growth of our customer base, we're looking at more and more social channels every day, literally.
So the majority of your volume is
okay, and
European and whatnot, Australia and Europe.
So majority of our business, our trade business customers, so 2.3 million customers, are either US, Europe is probably about, those two geographies make up about 60%, and then the other 30 40% is rest of the world. So New Zealand, our home country, literally makes up probably
1% of that.
Probably at 1% max.
1% max. Okay.
Isn't local.
Awesome. Are you guys trying to get into Latin America more? Or, I mean, what do you see with the increase in Latin America, especially with all the turmoil, Venezuela and Argentina and so on?
Yeah, we do have some small trade volume from LATAM, mainly from Brazil and Uruguay are the two countries that pop to mind that I've seen stats on. Some of the other countries, there is trade volume, they're very small amounts. To expand in those sort of markets, you need to have the Spanish translation of websites and support tickets and everything else.
Spanish and Portuguese.
And Portuguese, correct, right? So having multilingual sites, it's on our roadmap of developments for marketing work. But it's not just the website, it's the tickets, it's the support, it's the social channels, it's everything else. You can't just have your website in Spanish.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Speaking of support, how good is that? I know when I deal with Coinbase, it's like a nightmare to ever get a response. And, and some of the other exchanges as well. I've really had I have bald spots from pulling my hair out talking to these people.
We definitely had our challenges when we went through our large growth phase through December, January. Essentially from that point, in November, we looked to double our support team. And in actual fact, we put about, about 4 or 5 times that number now in support. So we've caught up. They're responsive. They're onto it. Mm-hmm. We're wanting a far greater level. So we're looking to raise the bar internally on what we see as the appropriate service level. And it goes for multiple channels that as well. It's not just raising support tickets. We've got people on Twitter, on Facebook responding and pointing people in the right direction.
Cool. Yeah, I complained about Coinbase, but I also use Shift, and it's the complete opposite. Those people are awesome. Their response is just awesome.
A lot of exchanges in January, February period. Mm-hmm. Any exchange that said they didn't have issues with support would be lying to you.
Yeah.
Everyone went through the same pain.
Yeah.
They had no volume.
Yeah. So. And now during this sort of bear period that we're in, so it's sort of settled down a bit, we personally have spent a lot of time looking at our technology, our staff, our support mechanisms, and working on those. And next boom we have, we're better placed to not have the same issues again.
Mm-hmm. Like Binance is trying to make their own coin. Maybe are you guys trying to do that too? And what about stable coins? So those two issues.
So we do have a coin of our own, Dotcoin. It's used very much for a listing fee process at the moment, not widely adopted. Other than that, we've got NZDT, which is pegged to the New Zealand dollar, which currently on and off ramp isn't there, but we're looking to process that through in 2019 and get that back up and running. So, yeah, it's on our roadmap to increase what we can do and the versatility of both of those. But yeah, they're definitely there.
Yeah, it seems to be a lot more new ones popping up too, as far as stable coin.
Did I understand that correctly? The NZT, that's a coin that you guys are planning to manage. It's not currently released, but it's going to be pegged to the New Zealand dollar.
It is released. We've just got to turn the on and off ramp back on. So it's currently traded as one of our best markets.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
That's fantastic.
The more competition, the better. I mean,
I think so. Yeah. And so with these, is that part of your growth strategy to release these tokens to get that adoption, to get more listings? I'm looking at the rankings and I mean, right now, I mean, today's volume is something like 3.8 billion in Bitcoin, and you guys are doing about 10% of that, or 1% of that, and 3.5 million on your exchange with all tokens. Is that about accurate? I mean, at least today. I don't know. Is today you mentioned today is bear market? Is it slow? Yep. I'm just kind of, where does this?
I'd say. Yeah, so that to us would be a slow day, but we're sitting down around that 5 mil on average. Okay. If you take the wash trading out, there's been reports where we're top 10%, so it's quite a bit different to what you see on CoinMarketCap. Mm-hmm. In terms of pegging to traditional currencies, it's definitely a plan to expand those, probably focusing closer to home first and then moving on to the rest of the world. But it's not saying that we have to do them. If someone else does them and it is, clearly a good, solid product, it's got on and off ramps, not just on ramps and you can't ever get it off, we'd look to use that and utilize that for our users. So it's all about, our main focus is our customers and making it as easy as possible for people to, jump on and have a go and try and trade and use cryptocurrency. The easier we make it, the more likely mass adoption will happen quicker.
So do you really want to use the exchange as an on-ramp to teach people how to trade and kind of open it up and make it more trading friendly? Is that one of your goals?
That is one of our intents, yeah.
And do you have any particular plans to build apps or there's competitors out there in this space like Robinhood and things like that. Is that something that you guys offer as well?
We are looking at some of our mobile strategies at the moment. We're evaluating those. We're also looking at, do we, there will be consolidation of exchanges and coins. That's inevitable over time. I'm talking next 12 months. At that point, some of those exchanges may already have on and off ramps that we could leverage or otherwise. So there's a lot of question marks, a lot of not uncertainty, but unknown probably in the next 12 months, which will come out, which will be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Is there a Surgeon General warning about trading for the newbies so they don't catch cancer by losing their butt?
We don't currently have that in our knowledge base, but it's something to look at.
Yeah, right. Don't trade more than you can afford.
Yeah. Like any investment product, it's a gamble, right? You don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
You just got to do your research.
So what about rates and everything as far as the trading fees? How are you guys competitive compared to the other markets or the other exchanges?
We're looking at actually alternatives to what we currently do. We're flat on the make and take, but we're looking at going through with the new API, which will allow us the ability to have a tiered rate system, which I think will bring us more in line with where other exchanges are going.
Yeah, and some of the newer market, I guess Uphold actually announced this, that they have refer a friend type things. Do you guys do any of that?
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. How would somebody refer a friend to?
There's a link on our website.
Okay.
And you get a percentage of their trade fee volume for life.
Oh, cool.
So we do it for life, not for a period.
Oh, wow.
So the more friends you refer, the more money you can potentially make for doing nothing.
Man, I need to get more friends. I'll never make any money
myself.
I have no friends.
Well, that's interesting. So it sounds like you guys are on a very accommodating approach. You're reaching out. You're planning to reach out via content. You're creating these referral programs. You're trying to build a base of friendly trading. I do wonder if you're getting into the physical space at all. Are you guys looking at anything in the realm of
OTC,
non-virtual?
Do you have any OTC outlets or anything like that? Or
we currently take advantage of some OTC,
okay.
But we don't have that on our roadmap to get into at this stage. But you never know what's going to happen in the next 12 months, right?
Yeah, right. I mean, that'd be kind of cool to have OTC affiliates here and there, or people who are not sure about actually putting their money into something, but would rather do it physically. Meet someone face to face in a business. So, for instance, in San Pedro in LA, they have a physical OTC place at the crypto space. It's called the crypto space, and it's a local meetup for all the different crypto activities. And this guy has in the back room, you go way in the back, and there's a thing behind a cage, and it's like going to the old style bank or whatever. And you can do OTC trading right there with them. They have their money transmitter license and the whole bit, so they do the KYC and all of it. But it's just you're right there, get it, and you get a better deal than from the ATM that's actually in the store. So it's pretty cool,
It is, yeah, it is. It's a cool concept. I suppose the thing was trying to partner with people to do that kind of thing, because New Zealand, obviously, we're right at the bottom of the world, right, and our user base is spread across the world, and 99+% is in other countries. So great concept.
Well, so let's take it back to the Simpsons. Which way does the toilet flush?
Clockwise, guys. It's always clockwise.
Awesome. Well, I think we're coming up on the end of our time here. Is that right? Raj, Tim, thank you for coming on to the Crypto Show. Really appreciate your time. If they want to learn more about you and Cryptopia, how can they get in touch with you guys?
The best way to get hold of us is on www.cryptopia.co.nz. We're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitter, we're on a number of other social medias that you may or may not already have. Just Cryptopia with CROPOTIA, the full spelling. That's where you can find us. And thanks for having us on board. It's been great.
It's been a pleasure, guys.
Thank you.